names recalled, in particular Danny Kerr and Billy Vunipola?
Yeah, well, it's another step towards the World Cup, and the balance for the World Cup is going to be about good experienced players with youth and enthusiasm, and their enthusiasm coming through. So I think it's a nice balanced squad. Guys like Billy and Danny Kerr have deserved their recall. We'll add the experience to the squad, and then you've got young guys like Arundel, Will Joseph, Schickling. You know, there's a whole cast of them that are going to add some enthusiasm to the squad. So yeah, we like the balance.
And you talk about that experience. Obviously, injury has allowed Danny Kerr to return and Billy Vunipola to return, but the door is obviously open for them in terms of the World Cup.
100%, yeah.
What do they need to do?
Oh, play well, mate. It's always about playing well.
And in terms of Billy Vunipola, what's impressed you then? What's he done since he was left out at the start of the season?
Well, he needed to find his best, mate. You know, he wasn't at his best. The last Six Nations he played with us, he was a bit up and down, and asked him to go away and find his best. And I think consistently for Saracens, he's been close to that. And I thought in the final he was absolutely exceptional. You know, he looked like a test number 8.
And yesterday's defeat, reflecting on it, how big an impact is that likely to have on a young team? Would there be any scars there from that?
Well, yesterday was England 15 side. It wasn't a test match. So for us, it was a practice match, which is an important practice match, and we got a lot out of it. So it was important. And
the injuries, you were missing a lot of key players. How big a worry is that? How big a concern is that, given the importance to keep on winning now down under?
Well, it's no concern because I can't control it. Yeah, we can only pick from the players we have available. And I think, you know, generally now in a 4-year cycle, the only time you get close to having 100% of your players is the World Cup, where you get that 3-month lead in.
Ben Young's not travelling, is that for personal reasons?
We've just decided to rest him. We feel that that's in his best interest at the moment to rest him.
And the captaincy? Who will captain the team?
Yeah, well, once we get into Perth, we'll start preparing, and then we'll announce the captaincy in due course.
What is there to balance up?
To make the best decision for the team and who's fit and available. You know, we've probably learnt from experience the last Six Nations. We went through 2 captains before we got to the captain in the first game.
Thank you.
Were you in close contact with Billy throughout the time he was out of the squad, and how hungry has he been to get back into the...
Well, I hope he's not too hungry, mate, because he can put on weight. But yeah, no, we were in regular contact. I'd go and see him after or before each selection and have a chat to him about where he was at. Yeah, I value him highly as a player, but he wasn't at his best, and he's found his best now, and he deserves to be back in the team.
You've had a bit of time to have a close look at Henry Aaron. How's he been getting?
Yeah, no, really well, mate. He's got a lot to like, but the next step's the big step for him. You know, he's to go from a part-time club player to a fully fledged international is a big step, and he's taking good steps towards it. He's got a good attitude. He works hard. Learning from the senior players, you know, he's lucky he's got a guy like Johnny May who's such an ultimate professional to learn from.
Ed, could you just ask what you thought about Saturday's game? You've spoken recently about increasing ruck speed and that kind of stuff, and a fair number of your squad are involved in that game. Was that game you thought, or a style of play you thought was helpful for what you're trying to do?
Well, club rugby's club rugby, mate. I thought it was a great test match, but it was for rugby enthusiasts, wasn't it? Yeah, if you had the choice of watching Super Rugby final or Club Rugby final, and you wanted to see speed of ball and ball movement, you'd watch Super Rugby. If you wanted to watch a good, tough, enthralling game of rugby, you'd watch the club up here. And I think that's the great thing about rugby, isn't it? That's the great thing about it. It can be played in so many different ways and still be exciting. Now, Saturday's game mightn't entice new spectators to the game, but anyone who's there who knows rugby would have loved it.
Ross, please, thanks.
Hey, just a quick one back on Danny Kerr. How much is it just the kind of the 4 years of just largely really good rugby he's been playing, Or is there something just more recently that you've seen that's kind of just maybe tip that balance to get him back in? I'm just intrigued after such a long gap.
Well, it's more about the speed of the ball. Like, he's very good at playing on top of teams, and you know, we experimented a bit yesterday playing a bit flatter. And he's very good at that, taking the ball to the defence line when the ball's quick, engaging those ruck defenders, which creates space on the outside. I think we saw a bit of that yesterday.
Eddie, is Ben Young the only player who's been rested?
Yes.
Joe Morrow,
Both not selected, but both we've chatted to about what they need to do to go forward.